What does my poetry book, this bag, and Island Health have in common? Let me tell you. And if you think you already know because you attended my book launch event this spring, I have an exciting update for you. If you've been following along in my journey, either personally or through my poetry book that was released with Kelsey Books this year, you'll know that 3 years ago I experienced a miscarriage. About a third of this book is dedicated to that. But one of the poems that you'll find in here is called Sparrow Fly. There we go, Sparrow Fly. It's one of my favorite poems, but in it is a line: "They gave you to me in a yellow Tupperware box, wrapped in a plastic bag, stained with words like hazardous and biological waste." And while you might think that that poem is about some artistic interpretation of events, it's actually true. So after my miscarriage, I had an emergency D&C surgery, and I asked for my baby's remains to be returned back to me. When they were returned back to me, the remains were in this cheap, really cheap, like takeout container, the same kind I get at my local Indian place. And it was in a plastic bag, the container, and on the plastic bags, the words biological waste and hazardous were stamped on in big red bold letters, like warning labels. The miscarriage was devastating for us, but it only added to our grief to see our baby's remains disrespected in this kind of a way. I don't think it was on purpose. I just think it was one of those things that just falls through the gaps. Obviously Island Health have a lot to do. I'm not here to talk bad about them. I just felt unkind and incredibly disrespectful and not honoring to our child's remains to do that. And so it took me a while, but at the beginning of this year, I finally wrote them an email and said, hey, this is my experience, and I don't think that's okay. There's just no reason you would have changed this since then. If you haven't, if you have, great. If someone's already complained and you've changed things, or if that was a one-off, that's wonderful. But if this is still how you package these things, that's not respectful. That needs to change. Thankfully, I did not expect to hear back at all. I thought I'd be one in maybe a big crowd of people, hopefully not complaining of the service. But they did write back, and they were so just very, empathetic and had a desire to change my experience for future women, to work on that, to improve their care towards women that have or are experiencing a miscarriage in their care. In all of their Vancouver Island hospitals, actually, not just the one that I went to. And so I sort of put in this little team with these surgeons in the hospital that were working on improving this service. It's been many months of email chains and Zoom meetings, but we worked on pamphlets and just wording things and things like that, handouts to be given to women to just inform them of their choices, and in a very respectful and sensitive way. And then the other thing, of course, was the packaging. That was the thing I had issue with the most, but I understand there was other processes that also needed to be improved in the run-up to that. Because I was the one that had the issue with the packaging, I volunteered and was also tasked with finding a way to do that. We landed on handmade bags, but I was the one that was tasked with making or finding these bags and just, just getting them for the hospital, for Island Health. And as soon as they asked me to do that, and I offered to, which whatever it was, again, it's been a while. There was a lot of discussion about it. I can't remember exactly the details, but I knew immediately that there was this amazing group of women in my church that would more than happily hand make these bags. I would donate the materials, the time, the energy to making that happen, because my church, Oceanside Community Church, is just an amazing group of people that just really, really care. And so immediately I could think of at least 3 or 4 women in that church that would help make that happen, that would be willing to help out with this. And so I sent a bunch of them a text at the beginning of the summer, and they just organized themselves and took over. I was so relieved because I don't sew. I had the vision and the dream, but I don't sew. So I really, really needed help. And I think they saw that in me. But they took over. And so this summer, every second Saturday, we've been meeting at the church and then working in our own homes, in our own time, sewing, I think must be like 80 of these bags. And they come in 2 different sizes. They're all different colors and patterns. They're double-lined cotton. I've been learning lots this summer about materials and sewing. I will say that I stitched these things on by hand. That was a learning curve for me, and I put the cord through. You can close it. But these are going to be the bags that we're going to put the containers in. And I am so excited. They're so beautiful, these bags. I love that it says handmade with love on all of the tags, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do this to show care and love to women that have experienced a really, really hard thing. And to also just honor the unborn. I just don't think we, as a society, show them enough respect. And I'm really excited. We are slowly coming to the end of it. We have one more meeting this coming Saturday to finish them all up, to pray over them, and then I'm going to drop them off to Island Health in the coming weeks. And these bags are going to be dispersed all over. I think it's like 8 island hospitals within Island Health in British Columbia. And I'm really excited. I'm so grateful to the women for making these bags, for taking the initiative, for donating their time and their energy to doing it. I'm so grateful to Island Health that as soon as I reached out to them, they got back to me within a week and were like, let's change this. We're so sorry you'd experienced that. You're right, that's not good. And have been so willing for this to happen. I don't know what it looks like down the road. These bags are not obviously going to last forever. I know some of the women have already talked about continuing this on maybe year after year. I'm not sure. They definitely are talking about next year already, because Island Health needs 50 bags to supply all of the island hospitals for 1 year. We've made over 50. 50 was like the minimum that we were aiming for, but it still won't last that much longer, probably. Unfortunately, miscarriages are very common, but hopefully we are doing something to help, just a little bit. It's just a really small gesture, but I hope it helps women feel loved. And yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this, to be a part of bringing about positive change in a small way, in a small place. And also, I just believe that art is a form of advocacy in and of itself, but it also can be practical. I didn't want to just write a poem and a book complaining about my experiences or just wallowing in my grief, but I really wanted to count for something. I really would love for this art form that I love to bring about change in me and others, or somewhere in the world, something. So I'm excited, and that is the connection between these bags, which I absolutely had to show you and update you, because some of you already knew but hadn't seen what they look like. Actually, a lot of them have a little pocket in the front for the brochure, or not brochure, like pamphlet, information pamphlet, bag, book, Island Health.